Drew Bulpros here. Well, let's talk about Jim Harbaugh. It's pretty much what everyone wants to talk about now as far as the Chargers are concerned. You know that, I know that, we all know that, right? That's pretty much the conversation that the Chargers fans care about moving forward. But again, what is his value done since winning the national championship? Probably gone up. Probably gone up. We can talk quite a bit, a little bit about that today. Again, Charger fans, we're just sitting around, we're waiting for the Harbaugh news. Now I'm going to talk quite a bit about how he interviewed with the Falcons. What does that mean? Does that mean anything that we should be concerned with as a Charger fan? If we want him to come here, but there's a lot to be said. Look, he was offered a lot of money from Michigan. Is he going to stay at Michigan, or is he going to come to the NFL? I want to talk about that quite a bit as well too. So got a lot to discuss. I'll keep this video fairly short, but I'll try and recap as best I can where we sit with Jim Harbaugh right now. So guys, let's get into it. Bull Bros. Okay, folks, as always, like and subscribe if you do enjoy the content. I'm Andrew Bulpros. So again, Jim Harbaugh offered a lot of money to stay at Michigan, right? And he won a national championship. Did he want to stay there again? I suspect he does. Everyone has pretty much decided he's going to be gone, especially with what's going to happen on the NCAA. And I'm just going to recap that briefly. Let's say the NCAA comes. Let's say he gets the contract. Let's say he signs with Michigan. And then the NCAA says, no, we do not want Jim Harbaugh coaching at all. Then he will be forced or the Michigan will be forced to fire Jim Harbaugh. So there's a lot of risk for him coming back to the role. So a lot of people really just are saying, hey, look, there's no reason why he would come back. Why would he come back? Right. I mean, you think of it that way, right? That alone is going to make sure that he most likely will not come back to Michigan now. But he does have a list of demands. Now, again, guys, let's talk a little bit about, the Falcons. I'm interviewing with the Falcons as well. So he did interview with the Falcons yesterday. Today is the 17th. And what does that mean? Look, bottom line, if you're interviewing for a job, you don't want the person you're interviewing with saying, oh, you're the only one that I'm interviewing with. Guess what? We're going to lowball you price wise. He's not going to go down that road. So Jim Harbaugh is playing both sides of the coin, right? Again, he's going to do due diligence at this point moving forward. Now, there's even some discussions with the Rooney Rule. You can't even hire or meet with people in person until the 22nd of this month. So most of it's just via Zoom. They've already had general conversations. I'm sure they're working out the details moving forward. Now let's talk about money. Let's talk about compensation. Bottom line, folks, he wants a lot of money, right? He wants to be probably top 5 NFL coaches in compensation. So I've been hearing 5 to 7 years. I've been hearing 12 to 15 million. I've been hearing a lot, guys. I've been hearing a lot of money, right? So again, that needs to be figured out. How many years? 5 to 7 years. I suspect that's probably already somewhat set in stone at this moment, right? Again, if you recall, last year he wanted the job for the Chargers. The Chargers decided to stick with Brandon Staley one more year. It worked out for both sides. Well, not for the Chargers. We all know what happened there. But my point is, at least Jim Harbaugh got his national championship for his alma mater. He can move on and leave Michigan in a better place. And I'll also say this too. I would say this also. I don't think he wants to leave Michigan in a worse place, right? So, he wants to make sure that he's involved in all the right conversations. Now, speaking of Michigan, let's talk about that for just a second, because I do think there's some things that need to be brought up. Who does he want to bring over from Michigan, right? That's probably another part of the conversation, right? Who does he really want to bring? Those are conversations that are probably happening more right now. I'll talk about one more as well, too, and I'm going to wrap up with the Spanos family, and we'll go from there. But the rumor is he wants to bring Jesse Minter over. I think he gets paid around $1 million a year with Michigan as the OC or the DC. But I think the fact is he did a great job coaching an awesome defense. And I think they want him to come over to potentially the Chargers with Jim. Maybe even the offensive coordinator. Who knows? I'm not quite sure how he's going to play out with that, right? But again, who from his staff would he want to come over, right? I mean, there's a lot of people to discuss, right? I mean, you got wide receivers coaches, you got special teams coaches. Again, I think special teams are probably fine. We got Ryan Ficken. Jay will probably be there. But again, it's one of those conversations where he has to decide what he wants to bring. And again, I promise you these conversations are already happening right now. So it's going to take time to progress. Again, I really think the Bolt Bros, we've been talking quite a bit back and forth. James keeps thinking we're not going to get anybody till the 22nd. That makes sense to me because I think you could kind of cross the T's, dot the I's, clear the Rooney Rule 100%, which I believe the Rooney rule violations like about $500,000, which is kind of chump change for the Spanos family. But at the end of the day, you want to make sure you're doing things correctly. Now, again, these guys are going to have to come in for interviews. Not even sure that they will come in for interviews, quite frankly. You probably hire Jim, and then the interviews will happen, and it's going to be kind of a formality at that point, more of just, okay, how are we going to run the defense? How are we going to run the offense? What do you need us to do? So, but again, it's not just maybe the football coaches. It might be strength and conditioning coaches. We already, we just hired a strength and conditioning coach last year. So he might want to bring in his guy down here. I think he's down here at the bottom. Maybe he's not. He's on the other list, but strength and conditioning, maybe a nutrition plan. Maybe he's going to bring in, some additional coaches, maybe even some psychological people that he wants to bring in, right? Some therapists, sports therapy, right? That's a big thing now. And, getting people's minds right and getting ready to perform. So these are all things that need to be come into consideration. Again, Jim Harbaugh has a reputation of being a bit of an odd duck, right? He does things the way he wants it. If it doesn't go his way, he won't do it. So, it's a big conversation that he's having, I'm sure, with the Spanos family. So it's not just Jim. It's maybe the people he wants. It's the staff that he wants. He's going to be building a foundation. Now, another piece that does matter would be the GM candidate. Okay, so if you recall, why he's no longer with the Niners, or why he left the Niners, was because he didn't get along with the GM. The GM had some, decisions above his head, right? What I understand that Jim wants full anonymity with the offense, and mostly full anonymity with the defense and just player personnel. I'm hearing a lot of people talk about this back and forth. Some people say, that's not necessarily true. I think Darren Jeremiah just came out and said, that's not exactly right. He just wants to find somebody he could work with. He wants, again, Jim is a different guy. And I don't want to speculate who that's going to be, but I promise you the GM conversations are happening more now, more than just about anything. You get the GM, you get the coach, and then he can make some decisions. He's already talking to I promise you, he's already talking to his players. Players already know he's leaving. I mean, that's kind of a done deal. Probably already talking to his coaches. Coaches know the situation. You want to make the jump? Do you not want to make the jump? Are you willing to make the jump? That's where it stands. Now he's probably working out how much each of these guys are going to get paid, right? Well, he got paid $1 million at Michigan. I want to go $1.5 million, right? So that's where it stands at this moment too. The other part of that conversation also is, where is it going to sit, with, player personnel, draft. I mean, does he want his own scouting team? Is JoJo Wooden going to stick around? Does he want to bring in a whole completely different group? There's so many caveats to this conversation. Again, guys, I see so many people say, why we interviewed him? Why would he do this? Why isn't he signed? I promise you it's a longer conversation than just, hey, most of it's been figured out. Now you're just crossing the T's and dotting the I's. And I think James is right. 22nd probably makes the sense to go from there. Now, let me wrap up with just my general thoughts on the Spanos family. I don't want this video to be too long. The good thing about this is this gentleman right here will make the Chargers a winning organization like that. Yes, it's going to cost the Spanos money. But the reality is this: they have done it wrong for years. Okay. We are on a steep decline, but we know that this man loves Justin Herbert. Probably a big reason why he wants to come here. Already have plenty of good players on the defensive side of the ball. Again, salary cap issues aside, there are things that need to be figured out on both sides of the ball to make the numbers work. But this guy knows how to build a program and fix it. He's been successful everywhere he's been. So at the end of the day, the Spanos family is going to be better off. I don't know if you guys know this. I just barely Googled this. I had no idea how much the Chargers are actually worth, right? $4.15 billion. Folks, that is crazy money. You hire this guy, you pay him 10 or pay him 12, 15 million a year, whatever that's going to be. It's going to be a drop in the bucket. If we win a Super Bowl, the value of the team moves up to $5 to $6 billion. It's going to pay dividends, right? So for him, the Spanos family, it's the right thing to do. And they don't have to deal with anything. If you're going to let Harbaugh run it, let him run it. Let him do what he needs to do. Quite frankly, I don't think the Spanoses know their head from their assholes at this point, right? They're what are they there for, right? They're not helping in any way, right? Pay the bills, pay the man, get it done, move it forward. And again, guys, I just truly believe at the end of the day, Jim Harbaugh is the right guy. I haven't seen anybody suggest, even this whole Falcons interview, look, that's just letting him know, oh yeah, they offer me $13 million a year. Great. You need to give me $13 million. He's using leverage to find the best opportunity for him. So guys, what do you think? What are your thoughts on Harbaugh? I want to hear it. Please leave your comments down below. As always, Andrew Bopro. See you guys in the next one.